also evolved into something called a system of white supremacy. And that's what they called it. I went with it because it's an indictment of the people who started this. And I use it as an indictment. And I don't want to change that now, saying that this system doesn't exist or that the system itself is inferior, because as a system, even though it's evil, it is not inferior. It is superior to the people who are the victims of it. Otherwise, the people couldn't be victims. That's why I hold on to it tenaciously. Now, other people, if they want to use other terms and say, like a lot of people say, well, this white supremacy thing, Fuller, stop calling it that. Ain't nobody supreme. I say, oh, well, then if ain't nobody supreme, ain't nobody telling nobody else what to do, if nobody's mistreating anybody, then what are you going to call it? I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but are you saying that people are not being mistreated? And who are the people who are not being mistreated based on color? When you just got through saying you got turned down for a job based on color, what are you going to call it? You say, well, if you want to, and getting back to this conversation we're having today, if you want to call it by some other term, I'm saying, rather than just keep arguing about the terms that we're using, use any terms that you want to. I came to that conclusion a long time ago. I'm going to stick with the term white supremacy because it works for me. When I say that to white people, they know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm using it as an indictment. But if I go to them now and say white inferiority, they will say, well, what are you talking about? Are you saying we're inferior? And then I will have to say, yes. And then you say, okay, inferior to whom? And how are we inferior? See, that goes into a whole other different type of question, line of questioning. And then I have to ask myself, am I really getting what I'm after by doing this? I changed the word from white supremacy to white inferiority. Now when I talk to white people, I start telling them how inferior they are, and they'll say, they might even agree with me, say, oh yeah, we're inferior. And so now, what's your argument? You're saying that we're inferior and we're telling you what to do? I mean, it's a contradiction here. I mean, make up your mind, boy. I mean, we're either telling you what to do or we're not.